What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the podcast Sitting Tall with me, Casey Ellen, and my boy, Tony Chamberlain.
That's me, baby.
We are proud to welcome in our guest today, all the way from South Africa, Miss Jodie Krone, right? Is that?
Krone.
Oh, it's Corona.
Just like the drink. Come on now.
No, or just like the virus.
That too.
But it's. I mean, we tried to set this up a couple weeks ago. We had a little technical difficulties, but we're back and we're here. I'm excited to hear about the spinal cord world that happens in South Africa. So, Jodie, if you don't mind, just giving us a little background about yourself, like prior to paralysis, just give us, a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. So, yeah, I grew up in South Africa in a town called Durban. Don't know if that sounds familiar. The places people might be more familiar with are Cape Town and Johannesburg. We're kind of like closer to Johannesburg along the coast. Yeah, I had a really good childhood, quite active. Grew up on a farm, went to quite a small school. It was really awesome. And then I went to varsity and literally got my degree 3 months before my accident. So I was 22 at the time, and yeah, is that enough background? Like, what else?
That's a good start. When you say varsity, is that like college?
Yeah,
equivalent?
That's college. So after high school, yeah.
Okay. So if you don't mind, how did you? What was?
I had a car accident. So I was with my best friend, and the car rolled, and it was just a miracle that nothing happened to her. She literally didn't even have a scratch. She wasn't admitted to hospital, but my side of the vehicle landed on a barrier on the freeway, those metal barriers. So the car kind of crushed me in between the barrier and the roof of the vehicle, and that caused a T3 level spinal injury. But It was very blurry in the beginning. No one actually told me it was paralysis. I could still move my feet for the first day, and then only that next evening the swelling set in, and that's kind of where it all went south. And yeah, I lost my movement.
Yeah.
So that was already 6 years ago now.
So 6 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm assuming you're an incomplete, not a complete?
Oh, that is such a hard question. I've had both diagnoses. The two
really?
doctors have told me two different things. So I'm gonna go with incomplete. But yeah,
I feel like the way you were describing it, you should be incomplete. If you had some kind of function and then it kind of went away, it sounds like an incomplete. You know what I mean? But I'm no doctor. I'm just curious about.
Can you feel your legs at all?
I do. I can feel a bit. And also my spinal cord, it isn't severed. So I feel like that's a good way to justify.
I would say incomplete then.
The South African incomplete. We'll go with that.
Those doctors in South Africa. Come on now.
Yeah, I feel like mine was kind of similar. I have mine wasn't severed either, so mine was more based on the swelling that caused all the damage.
Hey, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to hear a bit about you guys. This is our world.
She was like, "Oh, is it okay if I ask you questions too?" I was like, "Heck yeah, it's great if you ask us questions." I was like, "Tony loves that."
Yeah, we love that.
Yeah.
Like this, when we do interviews, we don't have a certain road we go down. We kind of just flow with it, and it's okay if the guest we get hit with all the time sometimes, and it's just it's kind of shocking because it's oh, we're supposed to be doing the interviews, but we're interviewing, we're getting interviewed other person. Yeah, exactly. So I'm just oh, okay, but yeah, we can a little bit. I don't want to talk too much about us because I feel like people know us by now, but I'll definitely talk a little bit. Case, I'll let you start, and then I'll hit it up.
I'll just give you a quick synopsis of me. I've been injured going on 10 and a half years now. I see 4, 5, 6 incomplete. She did the little neck. She's cut it out.
I think she was just saying, let's cut this short.
Yeah. I had a diving accident at the beach. I was just running from the sand to go jump into the water, and I guess I might have hit a sandbar or something along those lines, and there we go. And I was hit me. Everybody went off.
You were 26 at the time. What were you doing?
I was work wise and stuff like that. I had my I got from a varsity in New York, and I was working. I had a little career going, and then everything kind of gets. It's like pause. It's like we got other plans for you, pal.
Yeah.
A curveball, right?
Yeah, a little. Just you know what? I'm gonna maybe more of like a knuckleball,
Knuckleball.
or do they have like some cool cricket pitch? Because I know they play cricket down in South Africa, so I'm sure they
we
got
love
like some.
our crickets. Yeah, that's a good analogy.
I'm sure there's some kind of pitch that they can come up with in
Yeah,
South Africa.
yeah.
That's for sure.
I'm sure they got something.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry.
Jodie's always leaving us.
Stop trying to leave us.
Tony, give her a little synopsis of the tone.
Okay, so I am 5 years, complete. I was in a motorcycle accident. I don't really remember much of it, but just hitting a curb and then kind of blacking out. I probably did a Superman because I don't know where my bike was afterwards, and I was just kind of looking up in the sky, and it was very, I would say it was weird because it was very silent and like just peaceful, which is kind of crazy because like I was in no pain, nothing. It just, like I said, it happened so quickly. I thought I was okay, so I was trying to get myself up, but then I realized very quickly that once I wasn't able to move, that something was wrong. So thank God I had my phone near me, so I called the ambulance right away, 911, and they came and they helped me, and the rest is history. I went to the hospital, and I am a T12. Like it's complete, and I do have function on my hands and everything, which is awesome. It's good to see that you have that too. You need to stop it over there. We already talked to you about your it's just,
cool.
But yes, but yeah, I'm because me and Case were just talking about like he celebrated his 10 year and I saw 5 years, so we're kind of like close together, like when we got injured, but like a little distance apart, obviously. But we're pretty close, and me and him we met through a beautiful program called Empower. That's how we got together, and the rest is history.
Or was it online? How did you guys meet?
No. Well, at first it was in person because it was during the
First was online because of COVID.
Oh, sorry. Yes, it was online because of COVID. Yes.
Then you met in person eventually.
Yeah. Then we finally met in person for the first time, and it was love at first sight.
First wheel bump.
Good like
we did the little lean ups. We're just like, oh man, I love you.
It's like, oh hey, Tony.
Yeah.
It's like we identify with our whiskers, so we just we rub our chin hairs together.
Yeah, exactly. And I know it's so funny when you go in for the I just did a gala not to go, and some of the people there, when we're trying to like hug each other, it's so weird because like much like function, like trying to like move around, like I can't bring my shoulders to my knees because I'm fused at a lower level, so like it's awkward when I try to go in for a hug because I'm like reaching and pulling them towards me, and I'm just like, this is so weird, but I get it. It's our life. You know what I mean? This is how we approach things now.
When a lot of people come to hug me, like they always would come and like they'll hit my chair, like my remote control, and start driving me away. It's like my chair was like driving into them. I'm up, like settle down, hold on, let me turn it off. Let me turn it a while.
Let me set the functions here. Here we go. Okay, all right. But and that's how it is. And we met, and we actually both we're gonna try to go on a like solo tour. Actually, we were gonna try to do this podcast thing, but we had like similar ideas, but didn't talk about it. But a mutual friend of ours kind of brought us together, and this is how this came about.
We just started chatting. Yeah, we were chatting a little bit, and we just decided to do it.
Yeah, we're like, let's do this together.
Months now. We were trying to count. I'm number 13 or something.
Yeah, we've been doing almost a year now.
Amazing.
And but we were going pretty good 1 month, but then it kind of things kind of happened.
Slowed down a little bit.
But 13 episodes. Not you're lucky number 13. So I remember before we hopped on the recording, I remember you were saying that this is kind of like what you do. Like, could you go into like what do you do?
I meant like if I was for getting permission to share a story of us chatting or whatever on my socials. I'm in marketing and advertising and social media. I run a little business called Glow, and I just help a whole bunch of different clients, literally from like lawyers to event managers to like a clothing brand to like public speakers. It's really awesome, and I just kind of set up like a posting schedule for them and design all their content, and it's really, really awesome.
That's cool. So you kind of like run their social medias pretty much?
Yeah, so I'll send them like a monthly content plan, and we chat on WhatsApp and just make sure like we're all on the same page, and then I'll keep them in the loop if I get messages or if there's any big updates, and yeah, it's really fun. I enjoy it a
So
lot.
that kind of sounds like something we were looking for.
It's kind of funny because we kind of put a post out there because we're kind
No
of looking
way.
for we're looking for somebody to help run our social media, like our Instagram and stuff like that for
Oh,
a
let's
podcast.
chat.
Just
Oh my God,
because
yeah, we're terrible at it. I mean, like Case does most of
try.
it.
I mean, I try. Tony like tells me you're doing a good job, Case, and
Oh,
Pretty
like we
much, because I'm
motivational.
awful at social media.
yeah we try. It's just like these hands don't really work. You know what I mean? So I do my best. I do my best with my paws. And yeah. So maybe we could definitely chat about that after this beautiful episode.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm happy to
definitely.
help you guys out. Sure, anytime.
Tony,
Yeah,
what
we're
a
always
good catch, Tony. Good catch.
it's just funny because once you started talking about it, I was like, wait a minute, this is exactly what we were just talking about. It was like we're like, hey, we need to go find someone that's really good at social media stuff and everything, because like literally I am probably one of the worst when it comes to social media. Like I don't know, I don't like it's a love-hate relationship, because I hate like the whole downside of like seeing like negative
The
posts and everything
negative,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's great because you can always meet new social media, and like just like this, we can like reach out and like talk to each other. It's an amazing thing. So it's a love-hate relationship with me with social media,
Yeah.
100%.
Fair enough. That's how
Yeah.
Casey and I met on social media.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I know.
I mean, you
Casey's
gotta.
the man when it comes to social media. I'm not gonna lie. He finds a lot of people to be. I'm like, I don't know how you do this, man.
Listen,
But
thank you. I appreciate that, Tony, for the compliment.
you're welcome, sir.
I like to picture it as there's a quote. It's a Michael Jordan quote. I think it's a Michael Jordan quote where it's like you miss 100% of the shots you take. So I feel like I'll slide into people's DMs. Now I have no shame anymore. Like before my accident, I would never slide into anybody's DMs. Now, after my accident, I'm like, whatever. I'm like, they don't answer.
Like,
They don't
hey,
answer.
how you doing?
Yeah. And I know you and I, Jodie, we've been friends on I think it for years now. But like we like we each other's posts here and there, but we didn't really.
Who friended each other first? Who did it first?
I guarantee you, it was definitely me friending her. 100.
She's probably like, who is this guy trying to like slide up and be like my friend right now?
Probably was like, who is this beautiful, handsome man from New York? I literally because I saw like okay, I'm gonna be like, I saw a pretty girl, and I was like, oh, she's in a wheelchair. I was like, South Africa. I was like, friend request. I was like,
you're like very interesting.
Yeah. So like now that South Africa, right? So could you just I want to know what it's like for somebody living with spinal cord injury in South Africa.
Too.
How's the accessibility? How is like therapy, doctor? How is it there?
So
give us a rundown.
It's good that I talk to you guys about it now, because obviously like I'm sheltered in my world, but I just went to Europe. So now I've come back to South Africa with different eyes. Like I always thought first world countries were like the ideal place, but they've got a lot of older buildings. So unless they're like up to regulation with lifts or those like special lifts that turn into stairs, have you seen those? They're so cool. Have you seen them?
This lift that turns into stairs?
So it's literally stairs, and then you press, there's a button, and it goes flat, the stairs, and it turns into like a platform. And then it like lifts up like that, and you wheel off, and then it turns back into stairs. It was insane. I saw it in Belgium, and I was like, this is so cool. So
that sounds awesome.
Yeah, there was a lot of like little things like that which I had never even like heard of and just loved experiencing, and that's this year. But to take it back to South Africa, the best way for me to describe it is that like we're not accessible. Like getting onto pavements, they're huge, and that's scary. And our beaches, like we don't have beach chairs. I think we have like 4 in the whole of Durban and the whole of KZN, my like area. So there's a lot of things that are the downside. The best thing we have here are our people.
Yeah,
South Africans are super friendly, super helpful. Like I only realize that now because if I drop something in the shop, 3 people will come running and like pick it up and then be like, oh, can I help you shop? Can I do this? Can I do that? If I sit in the row of shopping and look up at something I bet you in 10 seconds someone will say like, can I reach you something? Like people are
Oh,
just so friendly and nice. And like if I'm transferring into the car, someone will literally come and stand by my wheelchair and offer help. And when I was in Europe, it was just so quiet. Like I would drop something and no one's around and no one cares. And
the
like,
crickets.
Like nobody loves me.
it was very like, oh, okay, just leave it on the floor. But yeah, no, even the transport in Europe, like I would get to the bus and the ramp would be a little bit steeper than I was used to, and I was a little bit nervous to like fall back. And no one would care. They would just see you like trying to struggle. No one would get up and help you. Whereas in
Oh my
Africa,
God.
like within 2 minutes, someone's there to help you. So I feel like it's hard, but just having people is really helpful. I think I would choose accessibility most days.
Yeah.
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 That's
That's
awesome.
amazing how you compare them both. I can understand because that's exactly the questions that I had in my mind when I was like looking at your socials. I saw that where did you travel? The Netherlands? The Netherlands? I
Yeah,
can't even see it right
yeah.
now. I always say Neverlands. I don't know why I do that. I
You
think of
went
the
to the
Neverland. You know what I mean?
Netherlands?
I went to Neverland. I was Peter Pan. You know what I mean? Well, I wasn't Peter Pan, but I was one of the Lost Boys or whatever you want to call it.
Stop. Oh wait, is the recording still?
I was making fun of myself because I can't.
Netherlands.
I
Oh, the
always say
Neverlands.
Neverlands.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, Netherlands.
the Netherlands because I'm a lost boy and that's all I owe is to the Netherlands. You know what I
That's
mean? No, it's funny because
You-
I work with somebody
that's-
from there and I could never. I always say Netherlands and he's like, no, it's not Netherlands, it's Netherlands. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I was like, I am so sorry. I was like, I'm awful at pronouncing like anything, so leave me alone.
I'm
Yeah,
so
But
sorry.
so sorry, but yes, that's one thing I want to about like how the differences between like where you live and going there, and kind of caught us up. And I'm really like kind of interested of like the staircase thing though. Can you talk a little bit about that? So what it was is like I'm assuming that like you said you would go up to it. It's like is it like in like the town or is it out in like in a
actually,
building or like
it was in a museum, so they
oh,
couldn't
okay.
like renovate the museum too much. They just like moved the one area into an accessible point. Okay, so
Mhm.
imagine like 8 steps. So now there's like a designated area, so you have to step back so that it has space for all of those steps to literally go flat like that onto the ground. And then
Oh, okay.
that was literally flat. All those steps were gone, and it was just and those steps
Oh,
were flat. And then you get onto those steps, and that became a platform, like a lift. A lift went
gotcha.
up like that, and then you can get off of it and go onto this first floor.
Oh,
And then
okay.
that same space would go back into the 8 steps. That platform would go like break down back into like steps. Does that make sense?
Wow, no,
That
that's really interesting.
I
that
do have a
sounds
video. I'll definitely
freaking
send it to you guys.
amazing.
We'll share it on
Oh,
the
definitely.
socials.
Yeah, I want to see that. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So that was cool. There was something I was gonna say about it all.
It's okay. It's all right. Yeah.
Oh yes. So in Africa, we don't have like the best. We do have good medical systems, but they're really hard to. They're not accessible to everybody. So seeing an electric wheelchair is kind of a luxury here. A lot of people have way more. Unless you're a quad and they can like motivate that reasoning, even
Mhm.
like any T level, you won't get an electric wheelchair. Whereas in Europe, I
Mhm.
saw a lot of people had electric wheelchairs, which was really nice. But yeah, they really encourage you not to use electric wheelchairs in South Africa, which I don't know if you guys can speak about that in your circumstances, like how easy is it to get? Obviously, electric's more expensive.
Well, I might be happy because I'm kind of similar to you. They when I went into the what do you call it, rehab, they started me on electric wheelchair because they
Oh,
didn't, yeah, they didn't know like how I was gonna react, after everything. And really, I'm not gonna lie, really quickly, like I would say, like maybe like a week after injury, after being in an electric wheelchair, they're like, okay, time to put you in a manual, and I'm just like,
well,
what? I was like, what are you talking about? They're
It's
like,
like what
they're
now?
like. Yeah, they're like, we're just gonna put you in this wheelchair and you can push around. I was like, no, I was like, I can't do that. And like, like I said, fresh and injury, like you don't think like you're gonna be able to do these things. And I'm just like, no, I like this electric chair. Like I want to keep this. It's so much easier to do things. And they're like, oh no, they're like, you need to get into the manual and you need to, start like, building strength and everything like that. And like, like I said, when you're freshly injured, you don't want to hear these things. You're like, no, this is and everything. But I'm very glad that obviously I do a manual because it makes sense because like I feel like I would lose a lot of function if I was in an electric wheelchair and I wasn't able to like push myself around and everything. But I also do have this cool thing that I ended up getting from my insurance. It's called a Smart Drive. Do you know what that is?
Is that on the front or the back?
It's on the back of the wheelchair, so it
And it's like
connects.
a
It's kind of like
wheel.
a yeah, it's kind of like a third wheel in the back, and it's connected to my smart watch. And what it is like when I do it, it will start the motor and it will go. And when I tap it again, it will adjust the speed for me. So like I can just go about, like if like I said, if I'm going up a hill and I can't really push myself, I'll do that.
Oh,
I'll get that and like and it will help me. And I can. But the good thing is, like I said, good thing I can control my own hands because at some points when you're trying to stop quickly, it's very difficult to like stop and like if you don't have good function. So what I would have to do is I would have to kind of like go up like I said, I would go up, set the speed, stop it really quick. And I'm just like, wow, if anybody didn't have like really good upper body function, it would be
Yeah.
really bad. So I was just like, but whatever. I'm saying the whole point of this is though is it's good to have like options of things like, and that was one of the options that I got from what do you call it, from my insurance and everything like that. So
yeah, we don't have. I don't feel like we don't have that like technology in South Africa yet, or if we do,
yeah.
it's really hard to access.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what I was kind of curious about too, like how they go about medical and everything over there. Because do you have access to like get grants for things if you need them? Because I know here we have a lot of access to like grants if like
Yeah.
the medical doesn't pay for things and stuff.
Yeah, so I don't know how different it is, but we have public healthcare and private healthcare. So
Hmm.
the public is like the bare minimum. It's not the best. So if you can have private, you're very privileged and really lucky. And I am in that position. So they in your medical aid, so the private medical aid, they'll give you an allowance. Like we get a new every 3 years. I don't know how often you guys get.
I think it's every 5 here.
Five
Hmm.
years. Yeah.
Probably because you guys have better quality or something. I don't know.
They just hate us, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because my wheelchair constantly, like, I'm always trying to get things for it because things do break, you know what I mean? And like,
It's
and it
every
takes a
single
second to
day.
get
Yeah.
things. Yeah, exactly. So like, it's kind of annoying. I wish it was every 3 years. Like that's kind of it is every 5 years. It should be every 3 years. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
oh,
And then like putting from hospital days there, I feel like we're probably all on the same page where they get you straight into a rehab and just kind of set you
Yeah.
up for living your life as much as independent as you can. And then I just feel like that's kind of up to the hospital, like how much initiate and like how far they take it. So I don't know, like with driving, can you guys drive? What does that look like?
I just recently got a van not too long ago, and I actually visited Casey in New York and picked him
It's
up,
true.
and
Yeah.
we went out, had a good time.
Yeah.
We had a
Wow.
friend help us
Escape
out.
room.
I mean, it's not like we can both go out just because I
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to do half the stuff. Like our friend helped us, like settle. What do you call it? Put him in
The
the hook.
lockdowns.
Yeah, the lockdowns and everything in the van. Yeah, because.
Yeah.
I would not be able to do that. I'd be like, Case, you're just hold on, buddy, and hopefully
Hold
everything
your
goes well.
balance. Yeah.
But
How
but yeah,
far is it from you to Casey?
it's about a 3 hour drive, I think.
Oh, not
Yeah.
bad.
Three and a
Nice.
half.
No,
Yeah.
it's not awful or anything like that. It's just when you're driving, especially like I said with me, like I got to constantly think of like shifting my body so that I'm not constantly in the same position. And when I'm driving a lot, I do feel like my body starts to hurt. So like driving distances is it's like, oh my God, you know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
I have to kind of like pace myself and do things. But like when I visit him, we kind of like stop and like go out to do things and everything. So it's all good. We figure out ways to pressure relief and I do and everything, and it's all pretty good. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's. Do you drive at all?
Yeah, that was one of the first things when I left
That's
hospital
cool.
was to get my car and my driver's. Yeah, and then it was just adapted really easily. We had someone here in Durban do it. And something else I wanted to tell you guys. So when I was first injured, I just really wanted to meet people with disabilities because I could sit and watch things on Instagram and learn as much as I could online, but I wanted to meet people and be like, how do you do this? What is this? What's that? And I was fortunate enough to meet this surfing team called Made for More. So they actually were just in Cali in Huntington Beach. And they just did
Okay.
world champs, yeah. So I don't know if you guys have heard about the parasurfing and all
Yeah.
that. Yeah. South Africa's very recent to the game. I think we've only been 3 years competing, but meeting them was just like the best thing I could have done, because I feel like I got so stuck into just wheelchair stuff. Seeing all the other disabilities kind of like normalized having a disability. Doesn't just have to be paralysis. It could be eyesight. It could be losing a limb. Like it widened the picture of this minority group that we're in. So I really do to try sports and to try reach out to people with similar injuries. Like just chatting to you guys, it's an easier level than talking to someone that's able-bodied. I love that I know I ask about wheelchairs and you guys aren't like weird about it. Whereas when I know other people ask me and they're nervous, like is this insensitive? But I just feel like our community can connect differently, and it's kind of a good way to get through things, you know?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I feel like we started this podcast just to like kind of spread love at first, but I feel like we're starting to go down the road of really doing more like people that are disabled, just to feel like not a lot of able-bodied people know information about like what we go through on a daily basis, and it's good to have this to talk to a platform for people to actually see, and like for other wheelchair users to actually go, oh wow, these people are going through like similar things that I'm going through, and they can reach out to us and everything, and I feel like that's a good thing, you know what I mean? That's a platform that hopefully we can build and get more more connections, because I love that. And speaking of the surfing thing, I actually did that for the first time in 5 years. I surfed. It was through the program that we went through. It's called Empower SCI, and we beach. And I was just like, for me, like it was, I can't even explain the words. Like getting in the water and like doing this, like I felt alive again. Like it was great. It was
like
such a great
free.
feeling.
You're not attached. You're not on your butt. You're on your chest. You're in the water. Like
yes, like you could feel the water. You can see that there's other things that you can do than like you never imagined you can probably do. You know what I mean? And that's what we'd love to keep like spreading and like showing that like like life's not over when you're in a wheelchair. There's plenty of things that you could still do if you really like reach out and like talk to people and stuff. You know.
Out there. And you, Casey, are you gonna get on the board anytime?
Well, at the program, because I went to that program in 2015, like so way before that I met Tony, and I got hurt at the actual beach where they took us surfing. So I was like, this was like my first time back at the beach, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do this.
Yeah.
So they kind of talked me into it, and I did it for like one wave or maybe two, and I was like, I had enough, but like I did it. It felt like a nice little like weight lifted off a little bit, but then the following year, I actually was like on the water. I was like, they couldn't get me out of there. Like I was in there. I had like a GoPro set up on my surfboard, so I had like cool videos.
Oh
like
man,
it was a much better experience. But
that's so cool.
That was I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna do it often, but like if maybe I'll do it again. We'll see if the opportunity.
Hey, at least it's an option, right?
Yeah, if the opportunity if it presents itself, then maybe we'll dabble.
I just think it's awesome. I'm not saying I'm going to even do it again, but it's just know that we know people that if there's a possibility of us wanting to do it, we can reach out to them. Like one that I think I'm going to get into, and I can't wait for the summer to come around again, is I want to get into kayaking again, because that program actually got like they have a kayaking day where you go out and you just like go enjoy the water and everything, and I loved it, and I was like, this is something I'm definitely going to do when summer comes around. Like I'm talking to like friends of mine already, and I'm just like, hey, I was like, we're gonna do a kayak day, and you're gonna help me, but we're gonna do this. We're gonna went to the water, you know what I mean? And we're gonna have some fun. So
we're gonna
go.
You know
what I like about rowing and like swimming and stuff? People don't know that you use a wheelchair. You literally just look like everyone else. And then next thing you're getting out the boat and they're bringing your wheelchair to you, and people are like, oh, I didn't know. Like,
yeah, exactly. Because we look normal without our wheelchair, right? We're like, oh, look at it, it's just a normal person, right? Yeah, we are just normal people. We just have wheelchairs to move around. You need to stop it, Casey. You're fine.
No, I was just saying, like, people could kind of tell that your boy's in a wheelchair.
Well,
I have that cool setup. They had to put that little thing in front of me so it holds the paddle, so it helps me so I don't have to have all the weight, which is pretty cool.
Maybe but that might think you lazy.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, why is he just sitting there not paddling?
He's
like
just
he's
out.
just letting the back person pedal the whole time. I'm like,
I was
here for the ride. Just
But the
heater
funny
and
thing is,
yeah.
from a distance, like you can't tell.
Yeah,
Like
no, for
obviously, if
sure.
it's like if you pull up on the beach and like, yeah, you look a little different, obviously, because you got
Yeah,
those you got those beautiful paws right, that you have to have like things
yeah,
Pause.
attached. Yeah,
yeah. My
we
quad
call them the
paws.
quad paws. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
quad paws. but uh, but
Well,
I totally get that too. You know what I mean? But just going on, just like saying that, yeah, it's just like when we're doing things, like I feel that way a lot because I do have upper function, and when I go to like do things out of my wheelchair, like people are just like they don't look at me differently than when I'm in my wheelchair. Because when I'm in my wheelchair, I get totally different looks. It's crazy. Like you know what I mean? It's just
so
like, hey, I'm
crazy.
still a person. You know what I mean? I just
Yeah.
gotta I have to use a wheelchair to get around now. That's all. You know what I
that's
mean?
just a little
Yeah.
different.
Speaking of, I have a question for you. How did your family and like friends take it like after your injury? Like you actually to like well not being able to, but like actually transferring into a wheelchair and like having to live life like that. Like how different was that?
Like we had a checklist. We had to make the where I had my accidents. So I was in like
Hmm.
a different hospital. It was really hard for them to travel up and down. It was really complicated the first like 3 months. And then yeah, I got home and everyone's life went back to normal, but mine didn't. So I think they struggled with guilt because my parents were not retired, but they were like wanting to travel more and wanting to do things, and then they felt bad that like I was at home at that stage. I still had to go to physio like 3 times a week, and my life looked very different. But at the same time, I was 22, so all my friends were like still clubbing and going out, and then eventually they were like, "Come, you coming with us?" And like the first time I went out, I was so scared, I was so nervous. But then I just like pushed myself and I did it and I had fun. And then the second time was easier and the third time was better. So I don't know. I feel like when you're younger, you kind of grow up with your disability a little bit. And
Hmm.
like I always say, I had just started my independence. Like I had just finished my degree and I was about to start my real life.
Yeah,
And it just looks a little different. Like I still was fighting for that independence, but included a wheelchair now. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm at a point where I actually live by myself, and yeah, I've
that's
kind of
awesome.
used my degree and my what I've studied and my disability and like gone into social media and try to find something that I could do at home and have flexibility and meet people. Like yeah, it's kind of just all meshed together. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
It's just interesting to hear like different stories because obviously I was injured when I was 35, so I already lived a little bit of life, and it was definitely like I was kind of more the aspect of like, okay, I haven't family yet, I haven't done any of that because I was thinking about all this stuff going through my head. I was like, how am I this? How am I gonna like, maybe one day try to have a kid or anything like that and do, and I'm still at the point where I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but but I realized that life is too short to worry about too many things. Like I realized that you got to live your life, and like things will happen if they happen. Like you can't be depressed. You can't live in the dark shadows of life. You know what I mean? It's just like you just got to keep forward, and like no matter what, just yeah, keep a smile on the face and just keep pushing. And hopefully we meet people like you and like other people that are we can motivate to do better things and like other
Yeah.
Do you
things like
guys
that.
feel like you knew about this, like about paralysis and like this kind of disability, spinal cord injury, or do you feel like it was a shock, like you didn't realize
Uh,
the extent?
I
Oh
had
no, it
no
was a
idea.
shock. Yeah, it
No
was a
idea.
shock. I think everybody feels like nobody really knows what it's like. You don't like if you try to think of you like before your accident and like you never really thought, oh, that person's in a wheelchair. I wonder how they're living their life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I never really thought that until like it actually happened to me, and then it's just like wow, it's definitely a shocker. Like trying to figure out, oh, okay, how am I gonna live my life now? How am I gonna have like money? How am I gonna do this? Like there's a lot of things that go through your mind. So I feel like it's like I mean I don't want to speak for you, Casey, but I feel like it's very similar, right?
Yeah, no, I
And
mean, I had no idea that this world, this life was even a possibility. I thought you break your neck. I thought that was see you later. They take you out and they let you just you die slowly in a corner somewhere. Like I no,
hmm
I'm just kidding. I didn't know. Like I honestly thought like if you break your neck, you die. Like movies, when people
Yeah,
break their neck in movies, it's like they don't like oh hey let's fix him and yeah it's just they break it. See you later. Like that's it. When they told
I
me I
didn't
broke my
know.
neck, I was like what?
Yeah,
What'd you
I
say?
didn't know this was a lifelong thing. Like I thought it was
Yeah.
you break your neck and then you have that amazing recovery story like you see in movies, or like
Yeah.
I never connected the dots that this is how people live for decades.
Yeah. You think that you'll be like, oh no, because like me and Tony, we both were athletes. I don't know if you played any sports,
Wow.
but we
No.
were both athletes, so like, you get hurt all the time, and it's like, all right, I'm just gonna be hurt. I'll just let it rest up a little bit, and I'll be back. I'll be
Yep.
back on my feet with no time. Maybe this might
Wow.
take a little longer, bigger injury, but yeah, no, that's definitely not how that works, and we all found that out the hard way. Yeah.
I remember just like asking the doctor, okay, doc, like when, like, do you think I'm going to be able to walk again? Like that was the shocker that I was constantly. I was like, yeah. I know you're saying that I'm probably never going to walk, but like, let's be real, like I want to be able to walk again. Like that's what I kept saying. I was like, I said, I thought the same way. I was like, I'll just go to the hospital. I'll work hard. I'll be able to do this and that, and then I'll be able to walk. That's what kept going through my brain. But then when I finally realized, like, it took a little while to finally realize that, like, oh, this is my life now. It stopped trying to run from, what's right in front of you. You know what I mean? It's kind of a shocker, but like once you realize that, I feel like that's when your life begins again. You know what I mean? Because you finally realize, okay, like I can live life like this, but it's not easy, but we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
I hate the word acceptance. I've accepted my wheelchair. Like, it's such a toss up, because you kind of have to accept it, but at the same time, like, you kind of have to live with a little bit of hope. Like, there's so much technology and amazing medical things happening all the time. Like, who knows what could happen in the next 5 to 10 years? Like, you have to live with that.
Exactly.
Like, if I did walk, what would I want to do? And if not, can I still do it like this? Like, I feel like you can live in the middle a little bit.
That's why I still go to therapy at least once a week, because I feel like I want to at least keep my body like in some sort of decent shape, like keep my arms moving and stretch out my legs when I can, just because like if something comes down the pipe, like I want to like be able to get it and actually be able to thrive with it. Like, I don't want to be like, oh no, we can't help you out because you're not in good shape, or you're not. So I'm like, no, let me keep these arms moving, these shoulders moving.
Good for you, Casey. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that.
Stop it out, Jodie. Stop it, Jodie.
Stop it now.
Don't make me blush on camera.
No, but that's really like admirable. I feel like I get more inspired by our community than like anyone else, honestly. Like, why would I keep going if I didn't meet people who were in the same position? It's
we relate. You know what I mean? It's good to relate on things.
That's why you would love Empower. If you're not doing it in the summertime, I could see you the links, and
please.
That's something I think you would love it. It's just a 2-week program, and it's all about positivity, and it's all about life after spinal cord injury, and meeting people with from everywhere, from all over the world, come to this program, and
That's
it's
amazing.
just it's life changing, and it's like once you drink the Kool-Aid, don't. Me and both have tattoos of the logo. Yeah, mine's on, I can show you. Mine's on my leg. So that
mine, like over here.
Wherever you want. You know what I mean? Get on the cheek line.
Yeah,
maybe.
Right above the eyebrow. Do a little Post Malone.
That's the new thing nowadays. You know what I mean? The face tattoos.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I know we need to wrap up soon. I just want to say, have you guys watched Invictus Games?
Invictus
Games. I can't say that I have.
It's
what is it?
With Prince Harry.
Oh yes, I have. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the coming back from a war, sorry, and have injuries and different. But it's kind of like a mini Paralympics kind of thing. Like I don't want to give too much away, but seriously, watch it. It's on Netflix at the moment. It's really good.
It's really cool. And speaking of Netflix, if you want to watch a documentary called Crip Camp, you watched it? It was so good, right? You get to learn about the history of disabilities and how, like, in America, we got the American Disabilities Act and how it all came about. Like, it was really cool how to see how people were living with disabilities in the 70s. Like they just wanted to, just like what you're saying, we just want to live. Like, we just, they want to do stuff, like, they want to go to camp and, go to sleepaway camp and just have a good time like a normal person. And
some of those stories really stood out. They were so good.
Oh my god, they were great.
I was doing some research for a speech the other day, and I typed in facts about disabilities, and one fact that came out was that in America they wouldn't let people with disabilities in public until like 1976 or something. So like, can you imagine you wouldn't be allowed at the shops? Like,
try to tell me I can't go in public. I'll be hurting somebody.
Somebody's toes are getting run over fast.
Let's keep this one in the house, not let them go out. You know what I mean?
Those were curtains.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's
Yeah,
that's
right.
also
Yes.
yeah. That also people, when they see you out, like, oh, it's really nice to see you outside today. It's
Oh,
like, you know
Oh
what?
my God. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really nice to see
It's
you
nice to see you
outside.
too. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It's
you
nice to
got your
see you outside in
got your
public,
fat ass off the couch.
with that ugly looking face you have on.
Yeah, you jerk, big
I'm a bit
meanie.
cheeky. Sometimes they'll be like, "Why are you in a wheelchair?" And I'll say, "Oh, no reason. I'm just quite tired today."
I say I don't feel like walking anymore. I'm like, yeah, I
More
got
of a
tired of walking. Yeah, I'm over it.
It's like
Yeah.
I'm just faking.
Walking's
Just faking for the insurance. That's it.
yeah, we're just faking it.
We
Yeah.
just want a close handicap part sticker. That's all we wanted.
Walking's for losers. Like
Yeah,
that's
walking.
No. You guys
Honestly,
should be like,
I feel like
yeah.
walking's overrated at this point. Like, just
yeah,
as
yeah,
long as you got your hands working, who
yeah. Something.
cares?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
really imagine what it's like to be a quad. Like, you're,
Come on, it's all right.
Nah.
It's pretty fucking shitty.
yeah,
It's pretty fucking shitty if we're gonna be honest. It's rough. It's not, Also, I mean, because I have to rely on people for everything, so that's just the only part that sucks is losing your independence. But like you can gain your independence in another way because I'm vocal and I can explain what I need, what I don't need. But it's it's an interesting life. It's not for everybody, It's
yeah, sure.
some people thrive, some people don't. Some people, it's even paras kind of spinal cord injury. Sometimes people could be like yourselves and like wanting to do good or be involved with life. And some people, I'm sure you probably met some people. I know I've met some people who just crawl into a ball and crawl into a shell, and it's just
Yeah.
that's why Tony and I are trying to do this to try to it might one person might see an episode and be like, you know what, maybe I can go out, maybe I can go to the store or
That's
just
beautiful.
Something. Yeah.
yeah, we're just trying to people helping people. That's it.
Yeah.
It's powerful stuff.
It is.
I met a
Definitely.
guy in my early days that had like absolutely no movement, like Christopher Reeves. It was
Yeah.
hectic. So
Mhm.
like you can keep thinking it's the worst, and then you meet someone who has that and they don't have their eyesight, and then you meet someone
Yeah.
who's 3 steps beyond that. Like there's no like
Yeah.
finish line. Everyone is a bit fucked. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
no, this is fine. We fuck shits. We say it's fine.
It's funny because we do talk about that program a lot, but like, when you go to the program, you see all types of people, and it's amazing what you see people accomplish in the program because they
Right.
never thought they can do things, and they
Yeah.
push themselves because they have beautiful people around them that want to help. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that's another reason that we really push that program on people, and it just blows my mind. Not like more and more people like know about this all because it's kind of a program that's beautiful. Like it really is. It's
Yeah.
like something about to we're blue in the face, but until you experience it,
Yeah.
it's like totally different. Totally
Have
different.
to add that to my list. I definitely
Oh,
want to
yeah.
join you guys one day.
Oh, 100%. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What was that?
I don't know, man. It's
One
a
of his
reminder.
DMs.
You cheeky little girl, you.
Yeah, we're a bit saucy in Africa.
I like it. I like the
Oh my
sauce.
God. So you're saying Jodie isn't the only one? Is that what you're saying? You slide into other people's DMs?
No,
You son of a.
Jodie-
Shout out.
Jodie's my only South African DM slide in, so
Only.
Only one.
the only one.
Oh, answered me back.
Cut it out, guys. You're picking on me right now.
Oh, no.
Don,
We love you.
do you have any Rudy?
No, I probably have a million questions, but
Yeah,
it's great. We could talk for hours,
yeah.
but we'll definitely have to have you on a episode because we've been talking to a lot of people, and hopefully down the line, we hear some more cool stuff from you, and keep in touch through Instagram and whatever, and feel free to even reach out to us and like talk. You know what I mean? It's all good.
Yeah,
And
no, we'll definitely chat after this.
Yeah, I'm gonna message you after, and we'll talk. I'll make a little chain, and we can talk about the social media stuff.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
But just before we go, I just want to thank our sponsors, Seven Bros Apparel, and this has been another great episode of Sitting Tall with Casey and Tony, and our lovely
Yes,
guest
sir.
all the way from South Africa, who's about to get some sleep, Jodie. But so this is great. I can't wait to see what happens.
Thanks, guys. Thank you so much for having
Thanks,
me.
Jodie.
It was awesome.
Till next time.
Till
Bye,
next
guys.
time.
Thank you.
Bye.